Hi, I'm Liv, podcasting from Italy.
And I'm Tina, podcasting from the Philippines. Welcome to Merienda Therapy Podcast, a show where we celebrate our 40s one merienda at a time. Hi mga ka-merienda, this is Tina.
Hi mga kamerienda, this is Liv. Welcome back sa part 2 ng ating episode, Dating in Your 40s. We're still here with our guests, Radek, Clarence, and Joey, and we'll continue on with our questions and, sharing of ideas regarding how it is to be single in our 40s. Okay, so we'll continue on with the next question. So earlier, we talked about relationships. I was going to say fail, but relationships that did not really work. And then I remember, Clark, you were the one who said that at this point, it's more of bahay office, and then may mga self-reflection tayo, right? Is there anything that we're doing now to kind of improve yung chances? And of course, this will be different for each of you because for you, Radek, again, you have your activities and then ikaw and Joey. But anything that you're kind of doing now, Clark, are you exerting more effort in going out, realizing na konti lang yung option mo kung bahay office lang? May ganun ba yung ginagawa?
Wala.
Maybe after this, you have to go on that app.
I don't know. Parang yung app kasi talaga, na-try ko na yan. Parang palipas oras na lang din talaga siya. Kasi yun nga, hindi ako ganon kasipag yung sa meetups. But anyway, although sinabi ko point blank na wala, pero just recently may ginawa ko na nakakatuwa kasi parang I thought hindi na ako capable ng ganon. So anyway, may mga rare, siguro parang may mga bigla ka mafe-feel na parang pursue ko kaya tong taong to, parang ganyan. Parang ganun lang. Tapos mag-effort ka, ganyan. So anyway, may effort. Meron naman kahit konti.
So there are steps that we're taking to, baka sakaling may makuha tayong option. I read, I saw a meme. Was it a meme? Pero a post, I think, in Instagram. It's about like, where do I find single 40-something guys? And I think yung isang na-mention doon ay supermarket. So I don't know, it could be different depending on sa location, right? And nilagay pa doon parang 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. because that's when single guys daw would, buy their groceries. They cook for themselves kasi most likely, 40-something na sila. And then they will be prepping for lunch. So yun yung time that they will be in the grocery store.
Galing nga. Totoo yun.
Living alone, right?
Totoo ba yun?
Lately, oo. Si Mama nasa Bicol kaya ako lang nandito ngayon sa house. And yes, totoo yun. Ang galing, ang accurate nun kasi yung 10 to 12 na yun, bukod dun sa magpe-prepare kami ng lunch. Kasi ayaw namin, ako personally, ayoko ng madayang tao. So dun nag-open yung mall So habang wala pang tao, yun, dun ako nag-grocery ang galing. Totoo yun.
Okay. So panawagan, alam na natin kung saan. Mga single ladies na listeners natin. So that's one place that you could be visiting on
what time?
A weekend din siguro. 10 to 12. 10 a.m. to 12.
Punta na sa pinakamalapit yung Pure Gold.
Kasi after lunch daw, parang na yan, chill, Netflix kind of vibe na sa hapon. So, I don't know. Ganon.
Si Radek is also living alone. Are you doing your groceries?
No, ako kasi dito
Totoo ba yan
everything's
sa'yo?
like everything's very delivery oriented here. So even groceries, like it's an app. You select like all your groceries. Literally, you choose a time, what time you can have it delivered, and they literally deliver to your doorstep, prepaid everything. So for me, that technique of like going grocery shopping wouldn't work. Everybody has has a delivery system here for food already.
Okay. How about you, Joey? Applicable ba yun? Do you have another location na pwede mong i-share na normally baka makita nila ang single 40-something guys?
No, I think the reason that's where most of the single guys, the time frame is practical lang yung mga guys ayaw nila ng haba pila, ayaw nila ng matagal sa grocery. So parang in, out, get the stuff you need. But yeah, definitely.
How would you describe, for example, yung ideal date nyo ngayon? You know, with all the trial and errors na nagawa natin ng 20s and 30s, yung mga realization natin, reflections natin, how would your ideal date look like now?
Well, for me, definitely an ideal date would be in a setting where we can talk. So, yung mga movie, ganun, hindi siya ideal. Kasi parang nanonood lang kayo, ganun. You can talk about it after, pero like the time you spend getting to know each other, like it can help parang over like as a date. Pero yung initial, especially first dates, anything where you can be able to talk, a drink, coffee, maybe food. I like food, so maybe food. And I would like to have something like an activity that, like a shared activity. So maybe a hike or...
Yung nagkakarinigan kayo, food, okay? Because you can have a drink in a like club or something. So ganun ba? Or more on a quiet? O yun na, yung maririnig nyo isa't isa. Yeah. Radek, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I think ideal, like somewhere to sit down and go for a walk, coffee or dinner, depending, how you know that person. You should get interaction with the person already before a few times, like non-dating wise, you could probably go for dinner. If it's like first 2 steps, let's say first 2 days, like a coffee or very like, like a walk or something. I try to avoid something with alcohol, because you don't want to get that can get complicated after for both. You might let slip certain things. It really depends, on the weather here. If it's like summer, spring, I try to get for a nice walk, a nice coffee outside. If it's winter, then I got like less choices. It's more like a restaurant and coffee place.
Okay. And Clark, is it the same?
Yeah, ideal first date, coffee. Buti nga, uso na rin yung coffee culture dito sa Philippines, basically. So, ayun, dati alcohol wala pa ng mga coffee shops na yan, di ba? Mga bars. Pero yeah, siguro as you grow old na rin, ingay na rin Kaya yun, something more intimate, over coffee. Di ba yun yung started over coffee, started out as friends. Char.
Actually, here in Europe, when you invite a girl for a coffee, it's a date. That means you want to invite that person. That is not just like for a friend. Here, basically, the pickup line, like if you ask for a number, like I'd like to ask you out for a coffee. It's given that okay. It's kind of like
it's not a friendly thing. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like that here. Here, it's like the line is like, can I invite you for a coffee? Okay, you know what it is. Mm-hmm. It's like inviting you to just the two of you.
That could be good, no? That's very clear. Same ba sa Pinas ngayon? Joey and Clark? Is it the same?
No?
Okay.
I think it's the same, but it also differs among the men because some men can say later on, "Oh, I just asked her out for a friendly date." I mean, there are guys like that, right?
But at least it's a good backup plan, because it was just a coffee. But here it's like insinuated if it's like a coffee. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
But when you ask somebody out for coffee or on a date, are you the ones to plan the whole thing? Because I've been asked, and then I've been asked out, and then the guy also asked me, "Where do you want to eat? Where do you want to go?" You're not asking me out. You should have planned for it, or you should be planning for it. So from a guy's
it's different now. I mean, with all this, all this vegan allergens, like vegetarian stuff like that. It's really.
I mean, you can ask for.
I've actually refused the date. I've actually refused a date because that person was actually vegetarian. I said, sorry, no, I can't. I love meat. I said, if I'm going to cook for you, like I'm going to invite you to my place to cook dinner one time, I'm not going to make 2 separate dishes.
Yeah. So that's another non-negotiable.
It's a small thing as well. I'm like, when the person's like vegetarian, vegan, I'm like, I'm not going to I said, can you, and even my cousin said to me, imagine you guys are living together and you're going to be cooking dinner. You have to make like 2 separate dishes. I'm like, no, I'm not. But I ask in politeness. I don't ask where do you want to go. I just go like, what are you in the mood for? And like sometimes you go like, oh, I don't eat fish, like that stuff. I don't like this guy. So it's just being polite. I just don't ask. I plan, of course. I think most guys have their like go-to comfy places, right? Restaurants or coffee places. I think most people have, I would say. But of course, it's out of politeness. I just ask, what are you in the mood for? Like, is there something, you like? And like, she not asking for the place, but like, she would go like, I prefer more seafood, no seafood, no pasta,
that's understandable.
That's what that's what I want. That's what I try to do. But I try to plan, I mean, you want to make an impression, but you want to make an impact on the first one. Not too much, but not too little as well.
I think it's good to consider, the food restrictions and the preferences over cuisine or what.
For me, it's like in general, would you rather do something like outdoors or something?
Yeah,
and then you plan for that.
20% choices.
Having no plan, it's just not. I don't think that's
good sign.
Any way or form good. So. But again, like asking preferences for food and then you plan around.
Yes.
But also being open to like being spontaneous. So I've had dates where I've planned something and then it just other like completely not there, not dun sa plan. Pero they went well naman. So yeah.
Okay yung sinabi ni Radek na ganun yung parang pick-up line or starting line to ask someone out on a date. And feeling ko sa Manila or sa Philippines, nagiging ganun yung concept ng coffee. Parang when you ask someone for coffee, parang automatic date na yon. So we're reaching na rin yung ganun line na yan. Which is mas magiging mas madali. Di ba?
Unless
ang safe niya
open-minded.
What about tea?
Pag coffee, tapos mag-coffee tayo, open-minded ka ba?
Yun lang, may mga ganon, true.
Bebentahan pala. How about tara merienda tayo? Pick up line namin sa merienda therapy. Tara merienda tayo.
Pwede.
Have you been asked out by a woman? And what are your thoughts about it?
It's not asked out, they suggest. Sa akin, they suggest.
They send fillers.
Here. Yeah, they kind of like, parang obvious that they want to like, talk with you, spend some time with you. So yeah, it's not hints anymore. Like I would say here in Europe, like girls are much more, if they're interested, they'll definitely let you know. But it's not asking out, let's go on a date. They just said, we can like go for a talk, chat sometime and stuff like that. So you know that parang they're sending out the fillers, I want to make time for you. So yeah, and I don't take it as an offense. I mean, like, to be honest, I'm not a fan of all these games like who writes first, who writes last, like how long should you reply? That's kind of, I don't know. For me, it's petty. I mean, if you want to write that person, you write that person. Simple. Sa akin, I mean, and I think it destroys a lot of potential relationships. Tapos, even relationships, they because he didn't. I actually had a friend, he broke up with a girl because like the girl was like, I don't know, they just didn't write each other, like communication, and then like they just broke up because of that. So like who wrote first, who wrote last, and like that's kind of stupid. If you want to talk to the person, you call the person, diba? So
I've never been asked out, but I don't know if I would mind it. Especially if it was someone I was interested in, like I wouldn't mind it. But if it was someone parang hindi talaga,
parang awkward.
Yeah.
So never pa. Baka after this episode, meron na.
Yeah.
Okay. Clark?
Ako, never pa din. Pero how I wish na sana gano'n na. Dito sa atin. Seryoso kasi parang yun nga, di ba?
It takes the burden off of you, no? It takes the burden off of the guys.
Oo, lalo na sa akin kasi nga, yun nga, medyo introverted na, medyo may pagka old-fashioned pa din or ewan. Pero, of course, gusto ko ng ganun eh. Although wala pang nag-ask sa akin directly, pero meron once na nag-initiate siya ng message nakakatuwa kasi parang, ganun pala yung feeling. Tapos, okay naman eh. Okay, wala, nakakatuwa talaga. As in, we went out, ganyan-ganyan. Dami naming topics, ang dami naming similarities, ganyan-ganyan. Basta parang, ganun pala yung feeling. Nakakilig din eh. Seryoso.
Okay. So, yeah, watch out for it after nitong show. Anyone who might want to try si Joey and si Clark, you can comment. Or subscribe first sa YouTube namin and then you can comment and then, yeah, we'll give you their numbers.
Yes.
Binenta. Binenta talaga. If it's a success story, we'll make another episode out of that.
Let us know. Let us know. You know, we'll be proud of having had you as guests.
Yeah. We read this line. I don't know kung hindi siya quote, pero it says that guys daw get married based on their readiness and may not necessarily be based on the person. So parang ang sinasabi doon is kahit na meron silang parang super, super love na let's say in their 20s, but hindi sila ready to get married, that still may not push through. And they may be in their 40s, let's say merong girl na okay din, pero siguro not as love as nung 20 sila, but they're ready na in their 40s. That's the one that might parang push through. What are your thoughts on that? We don't know whether there's any truth in that, so we want to ask you, ganun ba talaga sa guys? Or
It's completely true.
okay.
From my experience, it's completely
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
It's completely true. Kasi sa akin, boys will be boys eh. Will always, simple lang naman yung mga lalaki. We just like certain simple things. It's just that syempre we kind of, not saying it in a bad way, just kind of need to get everything out of our system. Because from experience, ay parang nakita ko yung mga dati kong high school friends ko, mga teammates ko from college, mga friends from college, they got married really early. And parang feeling ko sometimes I seeing frustration nila that they didn't do a lot of stuff that they wanted to do pa, or they didn't have the opportunity because when you're in college and high school, diba, you don't have that much financial clout to do what you want. Tapos parang frustration na, I can't do this traveling, I can't do this kind of races, this kind of hobby because I've got to spend on the kids or the house, etc. So parang feeling ko, ako when I got married and okay, got divorced and that was something else. But like when I got married, I was like comfortable because I know I was in a place now. I did what I wanted to do. Financially, I'm okay now, and I didn't get married because I to get married is because I I felt ready to get married. And feeling ko, it's not also on guys as well. Feeling ko, there's that genre, especially when I was in the Philippines, when I was still there for college, na parang it's nothing, you've got to get married, in college, etc. Tapos parang nakikita ko yung frustration nila after. Parang, okay, I got kids immediately, I didn't manage to do this, I didn't do my hobbies, continue to travel a lot, etc. So, for example, like traveling, I got it out of my way. I still love traveling. Pero, iba yung, if you I talk to my friends ko na they have kids, how hard for them it is to travel. They can't do, extreme stuff or like hiking and stuff because they have the kids. So parang sa akin, the guys, even for girls, like if it has to get married, it has to be like if you're ready, not because it's the right person. It can be the right person, but you're going in different direction.
Yeah.
So it could be the right person, but when you're
completely
not ready,
agree.
you let her go.
Yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't work out.
It's not about the other person, it's about you eh. Kasi parang, di ba, you can care for the person, pero deep inside you're like, I want to do this, I want to do that. And it can hurt the other person, di ba?
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So it'd be unfair.
Right. How about you, Joey and Clark? Agree? Is it correct, right for you? Ganun din ba? Or you have another take?
I think, alam niyo yung kanta, we had the right love at the wrong time. Ano yung kantang yun? The right love at the wrong time.
Kantahin mo muna.
Still the wrong.
Para mas ma-recall namin. Paano nga yun?
Our listeners
Performing music. Lagay ko intro, no? But yeah,
We're
right love at the wrong time is still the
Joey.
wrong thing because like Radek said, no, you could be like actually not ready to support a family, and then, but it's really, it doesn't help anyone. So, but in my experience, readiness versus the right one. I think the right one appears when you're ready. So it's not really like parang, oh, ito na yan, and then hindi pa ako ready. So parang, how did you know yun na yun when you weren't ready in the first place? So
Clark, is it the same with you?
Yeah, I agree din eh. Siguro kasi parang paano ba? Mas malaki kasi yung responsibility ng guy when it comes to, setting up his own family or kasi syempre, yun nga, bukod sa finances, ano yun eh, talagang life-changing yun. So, ideally, once you're married, yung parang process is kids. So of course, you'll be raising human beings na. So dapat, alam mo yun, talagang may iba na talaga yung buhay mo nun. Kaya merong certain readiness or preparedness kang kailangan din gawin nun eh. Hindi lang financially, of course, mentally dapat. So yun, I agree na although you are committed with the right person talaga, pero sometimes baka ma-delay yun or hindi mo na yun yung talagang priority kasi nga you have to have this certain preparedness din muna as a guy and as a person or as a man, to commit or talagang to go to that next level na. So yeah, I agree.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was going to add also na yun nga, it's not just about financial readiness, no? Nandun yung mentally ready ka na, emotionally ready. Radek touched on this na if, for example, travel, like you want to explore the world and you understand that that may not be so easy to do once you get married and you have kids. Are you ready to still go through that? Parang in a way, I guess meron tayo ditong trade-offs na. Parang ready na ba tayo dun sa trade-off na yun kung talagang if we're gonna get married now? Because there may be certain things that may not come as easily to us. And if the answer is no, Radek touched on this, na it may not be fair to the other person then. Kasi baka while in the relationship, you still push through with those activities, with those things, and then that can be a cause of, I guess, breakup then. Yeah. Okay. Right. So, okay, so we're all in agreement doon. So, I guess may pinanggalingan yung line na yun na nakita namin. Some women, it's confusing to us, to everyone, right? How do I know if a guy is really interested? And, minsan dyan pumapasok yung nag-overanalyze, and then we give excuses sometimes. Women tend to supply the excuses then. So I guess ang question dun is, how do we know kung interested talaga ang guys? And I guess yung cultural differences magpi-play ng part din dito because Radek, where you are right now, I guess people are a bit more straightforward, right? So, tama ba? That you would tell them if you're interested or this is it. It was a nice coffee conversation, pero it's not progressing.
I think I would say this is global. Especially I learned this for the past few years. There's only one thing to know if a guy or girl is interested, if you're interested in each other. I think sa akin, it's time. If you make time for somebody, then you know that person is serious. Because there's so many ways to make excuses right now. Dami kong trabaho, dami kong I got to do this, I got to do that. Yeah. If you want to see somebody, you'll make time. No matter what, you'll find a way to see that person or talk to that person. Kasi daming na, like you were saying, di ba, ghosting, hindi ka nag-reply. Oh, sorry, I couldn't reply, maraming I got too much work. No, that's BS. If you got time to reply, if I got time to reply to 50 emails at work and like 50, Microsoft Office messages at work, I can like 5 seconds. I go to the toilet and it's like while preparing my coffee, go like send a text, say how are you? How was your day? And yeah, if you care for that person, if you're serious with that person, both ways. It doesn't have male or female. If you make time for that person, then that person's interested in you. If that person's not capable of writing, "Hey, good morning, how's your day?" at least once a day, so then there's something wrong. That's my part. Obviously, time's the most important thing. You can't buy time. You can't. No matter how rich you are, no matter how poor you are, I think kung wala kang, if you can't make time for somebody, then useless. That's my simple philosophy.
Yeah.
So time
ito
is very
yung-
important.
This is when you say, kung gusto may paraan, kung ayaw may
Yeah.
dahilan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a will, there's a
exactly.
way.
Exactly.
Okay. Joey and Clark, what about you?
Yeah, no, I agree. Time definitely. The only caveat siguro dun sa kung gusto may paraan. Of course, would be like circumstances na talagang hindi kaya, pero really rare, no? Like if it's just taking time to just say how are you doing, like how was your day? Yeah, but if we're talking about like parang like extreme circumstances din na parang sunod-sunod nangyari, kailangan kong pumunta sa ospital, mga ganun. Meron mga ano naman, we have circumstances, but at the end of the day, you'll still find a way to do something. And again, not giving you like even like a small portion of your day. That's a really big tell that people they don't value. They don't value you or that relationship as much. So
Okay. So things like replying, for example, sa message. I think there are people who would say, "Oh, kasi I'm busy. I was so busy at work, busy at this." Yeah, Radek is shaking his head. Yeah. So quick toilet break or quick coffee break, you can easily send a message.
I'm sorry. I mean, like I know my job. I know my job as an executive manager. Like 45 people under me. I've got a side business. I wake up at 5:30 a.m. to go run every morning.
Mhm.
And you can for 15, 20 seconds say, "Hey, how are you?" And if you're busy, like like the guy said, if you're busy, say, "Hey, sorry, I got a really long day today. It's gonna be hard. I'll write you tomorrow." Yeah, at least hey, I'm thinking of you, but I got some priorities. Pero yung talagang go-ghost ka after 2 days. I had that, like, literally she wrote me, I'm like, 2-3 days after I busy. I'm like, sorry. And I don't make, and then immediately I lose effort after that. I'm like, sorry, I won't make any effort. And that for me is like one striker out, kind of like, you reply me after like, if you, sorry, you didn't have time, I was busy. I was like, it's not a funeral or anything like that, health issue.
Yeah. If nobody
it's like,
died, then it's not.
Yeah. If you say it's for work and stuff like that, I'm like, sorry. Don't tell me you couldn't be in the taxi or in the metro or in the cab. Like, hey, especially if you see a post on Instagram, that person like posts on social media, then I'm like, okay, there you're completely done with me. I got no time, and then they post a selfie, like you can see that there's like some filters on that. You're done. You're done.
Clark is nodding
I'm
his head.
simple about that.
Yeah. Is it the same?
Yeah. I think kanina basta alam ko nasa 5 love languages yun eh. So apart from yung acts of service.
Quality time.
Yun, exactly, quality time. Yeah. But kasi sa akin, since yun nga, medyo talagang tamad ako mag-message and may pagka-introvert nga, malalaman mo kasi makulit ako. Parang dahil kong tanong, yun nga, parang syempre yung mga how was your day, yung mga ganun ka-basic, yung mga likes and dislikes, and yung favorite snack mo, yung favorite food mo. Tapos, syempre, style mo rin yun eh. And you'll know it further or mabavalidate yung intentions mo further. Kasi parang yun nga, I left yung favorite pasta ko sa ref sa ganyan sa office, ganun lang. So yun, ganun. Ganun siguro ako magparamdam. Puro ka-corny yan.
How ready are you guys now ready by that we mean like I guess serious na relationship. Kumbaga ready na ba kayo to progress into that given that you meet the right person?
I'll just say if I'm going to be dating somebody like seriously, then it's like with a serious intent. Because I'm like, I'm 44, so I'm not going to waste my time, just for fling. I don't try to plan it. If I go out with somebody, I go out for a coffee and see what happens. I don't try to put like set expectations. Pero if something develops, then I'm open to it. I'm not saying I'm ready. I'm just saying I'm open to it. It's always open because it's hard planning. And I think this is what scares away guys and girls, basically, like, putting this expectations, okay, going out, living together, weddings, just try to let the flow go, then see what happens. If you guys hit it off, then yeah, it's a good basis. You guys can go forward and see what happens.
Okay, so there's that intention already. So
I'm ready. Like to say, if ready, like
Yeah.
if it progresses and the opportunity is there, yeah, I could.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah,
I'd
same.
have to excuse myself because, like, I have it took a little
Yes.
longer than I expected.
Yeah.
Actually.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you
my
so
pleasure.
much.
Yeah, and I'll
We
follow,
appreciate-
guys. Thanks, guys. Joey, Clarence as well.
We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, no,
Joey
definitely.
and Mark,
Actually,
yes.
same. No, if we're just talking about readiness, like to move forward into a relationship, yeah, I would say ready and actively looking. So
Okay. Clark, is it the same?
Yep. Ready na noon pa. Talagang ano lang, syempre yung circumstances lang din talaga. And
Okay.
yun.
So are
Super
you
ready.
by saying you're ready to do whatever you have to do to meet people? Kasi kanina sabi mo nag-try ka mag-up but then you didn't want to go out. So, our listeners need to know, are you ready to go out?
I am ready. Paano ba? Siguro yun nga, binigyan ko naman ng chance yung app eh. So baka hindi na sa ganong tawag dito. Although okay online, ganyan, reto or something.
Pero your preference is through friends, referrals through friends. Aside from matalisod sa harapan mo.
Siguro, yeah. Pwede. Yeah. Oo nga, but parang hirap ako sagutin nun. Kasi walang reto na nangyari sa akin eh, sa tanda ko forever. And lahat sila parang mga naging mostly office mates. Ganyan. So anyway, yeah. Siguro, oo naman. Reto is more than welcome at this point. And yeah. And mas siguro yung awareness na kanina parang na-mention yun eh, na ano yung gagawin mo. Parang, well yun, I will definitely do everything to make it work. So yun naman. May awareness na ako na hindi ako naglalabas eh. So talagang yun, magsisipag ka, yung double the effort, yung so gano'n.
Okay, so now you're ready to go out there and, look for the person. What are the red flags that you see? What are the red flags that you watch out for? Na talagang that would stop you from pursuing the person?
well, very initially, siguro in first date, how they treat servers, like food servers, like they talk down to them or parang pinapagalitan agad, di ba? Ganun, like a lack of respect for human dignity, something.
Have you had any experience na
Yeah.
mukhang madami
Hindi naman. Pero I was like, after that, I was like, okay, it's not gonna work. So,
Naging busy ka na after nun?
no, I clear naman na parang, okay, after
Okay. Okay.
Importante sa akin yung values eh. So, yun, kanina sinabi ko na kailangan open-minded siya. Siguro hindi siya judgmental sa tao. Definitely yung racist, ganyan. Or yun nga, tama si Joey na if you look down on yung mga ganun service-oriented people or mga kasambahay, laking red flag yun. Tapos, ano ba yun? Basta kailangan siya compassionate yan. And hindi lang sa mga nagsaserve sa kanya, sa lahat, even sa animal siguro. Ganun. So pag medyo hindi siya ano ba, basta pag medyo marami siyang hate more than she loves,
Nega yung mga kwento parati.
Oo nga, no, totoo, tama, mga nega vibes. Maraming gano'n.
Oh, at
Parang
saka yung animal abuse daw is parang one red flag ng mga psychopath. Oh.
Oo,
I
totoo
watched
yun.
I watched true crime kasi parang
Ako
if you
rin.
see early on na nag-hurt ng animal kasi di ba parang they're smaller than you and di ba parang what's the point to hurt them, then parang sobrang red flag.
So green flag ang
Mm.
animal lover. Yung
Yeah.
pagiging fur daddy niyo. Si Joey, you have a pet?
Yeah.
Kanina nagpakita eh.
Si Ninja.
Yeah, but also speaking of red flags, o kahit hindi red flags, say green
Pink
flags.
flags.
Pink.
Pink yung medyo siguro. Ano
yung
no, meron bang gano'n na parang
fun,
medyo you're watching it for now kasi baka maging red eventually. Kasi red flag, my understanding is talagang okay, bye. Kasi parang walang negotiation na mangyayari once there's a red flag. Pink flag is, I don't know, siguro parang, bakit may ganon? Parang,
minsan kasi may makikita tayong red flag. Parang red flag to. Siguro pwede mo nga i-consider na pink flag. Parang red flag tong ganito, pagkaganito niya. But then you let it pass kasi ang daming ang green flags naman. So, parang small. You can consider small.
yeah, small pero parang alert ka doon kasi baka it's an indication of something bigger. Nag-iisip si Joey. May mga na-encounter ka bang ganito?
For me, it's yung lagi nagre-reklamo.
Ayun nga, nega. No, nega. Naku, girls. Naku, wag kayo masyadong nega.
Like, you can complain to a certain extent. Pero yun yung parang
parang bakit puro
look
reklamo?
out for ano ba yung like mindset of this person. Hindi naman siya instantly na, nope. Basta mareklamo na parang
parang you see yung pattern muna, di ba? Parang, nagreklamo na to kahapon, tas ngayon, gano'n.
Nangyari yung parang sobrang liit lang na bagay.
Parang hindi commensurate yung reaction.
Yeah. Okay, so may mga pink flags din for us to look out for. Clark, may ganun ka ba? Or?
Napaisip lang ako. Siguro, kung meron man pink flag, baka yun yung parang inoorasan niya yung time ng response mo when in terms of chats or
parang hindi ka sumagot kagad.
Yung mga ganon. Siguro pink flag yun. Pero considered siya as pink kasi nga baka naman may pinanggalingan siyang ganon sa past relationship niya, may parang certain distrust or disloyalty na parang feeling ko kaya ko namang ma-reassure siya later on na parang siguro wala lang. Parang I know I can handle it naman din. Kung sakaling may ganun.
Are you familiar with the terms love bombing, breadcrumbing, ghosting? Kasi love bombing yung the guy comes on too strong na parang everything he would profess his love, ganun. But you barely know each other kasi nga you're just starting.
Yeah, I think it can be for women then. So, there could be, I don't know, may na-experience ba kayo ng gano'n na parang suddenly parang you're the apple of her eye na all attention sa'yo. Parang sabi nga ni Clark kanina, parang nakakilig din yon. And then after that, I don't know,
parang
wala.
hindi rin niya kumbaga hindi mapanindigan yung bomb sa'yo. As in the end, parang wala lang, natripan niya lang siguro na
gusto kong mag-ano dyan. Wait, alam nyo ba na last month ko lang narinig yung term na yan, yung love bomb. May ganun palang, meron palang such a thing na ganyan. So parang, di ba normal lang yun na parang wala lang, binubuhos mo yung emotions mo, feelings mo. So parang biglang nagkaroon ng ganung connotation na nila-love bomb ako nito kasi may mali siya or may atraso. Or tas biglang ila-love bomb mo, tas biglang mawawala. Yung parang ganun yata yun eh.
Oo,
wala
kasi
lang.
The wrong thing about it is that you barely know each other. Sa simula yun eh. Sa simula, remember that you don't know each other yet. And then, he or she would profess his or her love for you na parang saan ang gagaling yun? But she barely knows me. He barely knows me.
So ito yung best foot forward ba? Di ba ganun ang ligaw?
Hindi.
Anyway, wala.
Kasi ligaw, pero hindi eh. Oo nga, no, may ligaw nga pala tayong Pero
Yeah.
Pero oo, kasi yun nga parang nababrand na lahat din ngayon. So yun nga. I mean, well, okay na rin siguro na may ganon, yung may love bomb. Pero parang for me kasi wala lang, it's me just showing how special yung taong to eh. Parang biglang parang iniisip niya siguro, nila-love bomb ako nito siguro. May
Hindi, pag
atraso
hindi
to.
na-sustain, if it's not sustained in the long term, then that's love bombing. Pero kung na-sustain yun, tuloy-tuloy na hanggang in the end, it progress into a relationship, then it's not love bombing. So I think you can only say it's love bombing if it ends abruptly or hindi niya na-sustain.
Parang
Yeah.
feeling ko kasi siya love bombardment. Sa akin kasi normal yun eh, nawala lang. Parang unang bigyan ng ganung thought na, ewan ko siguro na, lang na nagtaka lang ako sa may ganung
This year ko lang din na balitaan yung narinig yung mga, I think it's...
Yeah, I don't know if this parang is related sa mga scams, you know. I mean, if he's a Nigerian prince, tapos nag-ask ng money, siguro yun. Kasi di ba parang, why are you suddenly so in love with me na kaka-email mo pa lang? I don't know, baka dun din ang galing. Kasi yun nga yun eh, parang if nag-progress siya, kahit na hindi nag-succeed yung relationship, then I guess that's just normal. Pero kung on day 2 pa lang, all of a sudden, so, alam mo yun, in love na sa'yo. Parang, Parang nag-meet lang tayo yesterday. How is that possible?
Di ba ang sad nun? Wala lang ang sad nun eh. Dati okay lang yun eh. May mga love at first sight naman, di ba? Pero
not all naman are scams. But iba lang talaga. Parang yung iba siguro, parang
lang.
Parang yung iba siguro nanliligaw or nagla-love bomb, they think na they can sustain, but in the end, malakas yung fear nila to pull back, na hindi pala nila kayang panindigan yung pagla-love bomb nila. So it becomes love bomb. Hindi nila kayang panindigan yung panliligaw nila. Ganon. So it becomes love bombing kasi sumabog lang sila nung simula eh. And then there's breadcrumbing.
Yan ngayon, today ko lang narinig yan.
Breadcrumbing is when you leave breadcrumbs lang. You're not consistent. Yung parang, ito yung mga busy ako. So you would be gone. You're not consistently communicating. You're not consistently communicating and then you would just say hi kasi just to keep her around. Yun, paasa. Para lang yung breadcrumbs, or you would make it appear that there's a future between the two of you. Kasi nga, you want to keep her around. So that's breadcrumbing daw. And then ghosting, of course, we all know ghosting. Bigla lang mawawala talaga. And you don't know, what happened.
Pero tinan mo ayan, sige na, label na lahat. Okay, may mga ganyan nag-exist na. Pero suddenly, humirap siya eh. Parang, sasabihin ko na ngayon, dating is hard. Dating's harder ngayon.
Wala pa nga, Clark. Di ka pa nga nagsisimula.
Hindi, kasi tinan mo tinan mo. May mga ganun parang ako gusto ko lang manligaw. Gusto ko lang magbigay ng flowers to make her feel special. Pero nila-love bomb na pala ako. Parang,
pero you don't think naman, you're doing this. If you're doing it correctly, like if you're really genuinely interested in the other person, you don't think about, naku, baka malabel ako.
Hindi, yun nga, siguro sila. Ganun na sila mag-isip, parang dati normal yun, natural lang yun eh. Now, there's this guy na may interest sa'yo, so yun, papakitaan ka niya ng special, pero walang agenda. Yun lang yun talaga because this guy likes you eh. Tapos ngayon parang ang dahil ko na kailangang bantayan, dahil ko na kailangang tingnan, ang daming layers bigla. Diba?
Yeah,
so yun
problema tuloy si
just
gawin na mo problema ka din ba?
Alam mo, Clark, unang-una gawin mo, you go out there.
Yeah.
Para may pasalisod sa harapan mo, ganun.
Anyway, pero sige, gets. Dami lang dapat isipin.
Green flags naman. Sige, green flags. Kasi minsan, yun nga, hindi compatible or minsan kahit nandun yung essentials, you're still looking for signs that would tell you, she's worth pursuing. So ano yung mga key signs na yun or green flags?
For me, one of the green flags, at least in my experience, small ways lang to let me know na parang napag-isipan na ako, parang ganun.
You like it when she's showing interest.
It could be a meme. that I appreciate. Something
Okay.
that just shows parang, oh, I thought you'd like this.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be like something big, but yeah. Um, Another green flag would be probably getting along with my family.
Mm.
I think pretty self-explanatory naman yung like getting along with
Yep.
family. To the
Buti nga
point na
kayo.
yung parang they do stuff not because parang pamilya ko sila, but because genuinely they have like a good relationship with them.
Yep.
Hindi mo kang fake.
Okay.
Buti nga
I
uso yung mga memes, no? Kasi
Yeah.
it's so
Memes
quick,
should
no?
be the sixth love language, by the way, sending memes.
Sending memes.
I'm up
Pero dapat magko-connect sa'yo yung memes kasi kapag
Oh,
hindi,
yeah.
parang, why is she sending this to me? Parang,
I
pwedeng
curate my
turn
meme
off.
sending. Okay.
Yeah,
My memes
pwedeng turn off din yun,
curated.
di ba? Yun nga.
If
So,
I'm
okay,
sending you
careful.
memes, they're curated to your specific.
Exactly. So, okay. Kailangan,
You don't
ayusin
have to
na
say
lang.
anything, no? You don't have to say anything. Just send a meme. You know, if you don't know where to start, send a meme.
Clark, what about you?
Hindi sa akin, ano lang, siguro yung nga, sa family din. If she is family-oriented, tapos, ayun din, siguro no matter how busy she is, yun nga, she finds time or she makes time na makapag-message lang din. Yung ganun. Ganun lang siguro muna ka-basic. Yung ganun lang.
Like, maybe
So,
another
parang,
green flag is like being able to work well together. Not in a workplace environment, but like
That's applicable in the community
it
setting.
does, yeah. But yeah, sabi mo na kahit kanya nagplano kayo ng barkada, nagplano kayo ng trip together, and you're able to work well together but during the trip.
Yeah. Or sa mga hiking trips mo nga, kasi because you're doing a lot of activities.
Tina, ikaw, ano bang parang one-off? Of course, there would be a lot. Anong green flag? Example of green flag sa'yo?
Consistency in actions, yung nagmamatch yung what he says with what he does. And also, yun nga, if he becomes busy, nag-explain siya. Na even without you asking. Kasi minsan mapapaisip ka, pero you won't really ask yung para hindi naman siya mabobombard ng mga questions na, nasan ka. Pero dadaan lang sa isip mo, in passing, nasan kaya yun?
Yeah.
And then you don't have to think long about it because he would be there, he would explain. Ikaw, Liv.
Yung usual, yung mga importante values, of course, family, normal na. But one thing for me is, if he has his own thing, like, that's importante. But whether, I'm artist, you know naman, I paint, so, and then I like reading. So, in a way, I have my own thing, and gusto ko meron din siyang sarili. Parang iniisip ko, ayoko na umikot lang sa akin ang mundo niya. Yung gano'n, parang he has to have his own thing. Whether that's yung sports, pero hiking, or whatever it is na dapat meron siyang. Kasi parang that speaks sa interest niya, kung may sarili siyang hobby, may sarili siyang passion. Kasi kung wala, parang to me at least, parang wala kang interest, wala kang hobby. Parang
Ano ko yan, essential ko yan. Essential ko yan that stuck with, kasi di ba we were talking about changing preferences, changing essentials.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that didn't change for me. So from my 20s, ganyan na talaga. Yung parang number one ko yun. Nagbago lang kasi faith came into the essentials. So yun yung sabi ko, I wanted him to have his own life. Yun. Pero yun, if you're talking about actions, yun nga, yung hindi, makikita mo nga na he's passionate about something. Something excites him.
Yeah.
Other than you, of course. Another green flag is when you bring up an issue, he's not going to be defensive na, hindi, ganito, ganyan. Parang ikaw, hindi magagaslight. Ayan, another label. Hindi siya magagaslight.
Na-stress na si Clark sa mga labels.
Parang I should take notes
muna.
na
I have to take note para...
Yeah, so that's a big... Kasi nga, yun nga, meron mga guys na biglang nagagalit. Tapos, ito, so green flag. opposite na if you bring up an issue calmly, if you just, call out something that he did or did not do, he doesn't make an issue out of it, and then he would be humble enough to admit his mistake and assure you that he'd do better. So basta yung being able to iron out conflicts, so that's a green flag.
Conflict management. Yeah, you don't have to agree on everything as long as walang batuhan, sigawan, and in the event, so hindi naman tayo sa nega kami, right? So with everything that we are doing, syempre we have to be sometimes realistic then, right? In case hindi pa rin, how prepared are you guys to still have like a full life, or prepared ba kayo?
I'd say am living a full life. And I'm not saying that if I don't end up getting a partner, I wouldn't have a full life, because I don't find my fulfillment in life in a partner. It's in my faith, in being a faithful disciple. So if it happens, good. If it doesn't happen,
You're still living a full life. Yeah. Okay. That's really good. Clark.
Yeah. Oo naman, I'm living a full life right now. Pero nung nag-reach out ka nga, sabi ko, I'm happy but I could be happier. Siguro na-miss ko lang din talaga yung sa relationship. And I, again, admitted I'm ready na din talaga. Pero yeah, kung sakali man, may backup plan na tayo dyan. Yung bagyo. Tapos gagawa pa rin ako ng bread. Yung gano'n. Tapos magtatanim ako ng bonsai. Parang gano'n lang siguro. Tapos, kaya parang...
Baguio. Sa Baguio.
Parang doon ako tatanda. Kasi maganda yung... Wala lang. Sarap doon dahil yung produce, fresh, tapos yung hangin.
Yung lamig.
Oo. Tapos pag nainitan, pag nilamig ako, DLU. Yun lang. Pabala ako ng La Union. Ganun. See, ganun ako ka-advance mag-isip. Talagang pating retirement ko, pag-isipan ko na.
Baka nagiging komportable ka na nga with that thought na yun nga, you're not.
Yeah, exactly. Ganun talaga. Di ba ako yung pinaka-eldest dito. So the older you get, mas parang nagiging comfortable ka na. Oh my gosh. Eto na talaga siguro. And well, that's fine. Sakali talaga wala. Ganun. Daan na lang kayo ng Baguio.
Makakainin mo farm to table.
Yun ang bonsai.
Hanapin yung bahay na may bonsai. So meron yung 40-something na single.
60 na ako nun. 70 na siguro.
Retired na, no?
Yeah.
Pension na.
But it's good that you both are, you're happy now. I mean, you're both living a full life. Of course, kung meron, that's better, no? That's parang bonus.
Yeah, that being said, no, when I say if it comes, I'm still pursuing it. It's not like I'm just like, I'll live my life. Kung meron, sige. But it's still something I'm pursuing, definitely.
Okay. Because hindi ka naghihintay na malaglag lang sa langit or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Ako kasi for a time, I was really complacent. Tapos, hindi naman din ako, lalo na nung when I came back home, when I came back to the Philippines, wala akong ginawa. And then it was only 2 years ago when I thought about it. There's an online dating app naman. So why am I not thinking of using it? So I realized that I can grow old alone. I have no problem with it. Pero parang napaisip ako na why was I thinking that way, na parang is it because I'm just afraid of trying it out, of putting myself out there? Or is it really because I have decided that I wanted to be single for the rest of my life? And I realized that it was more of the former, na I was kind of afraid. I felt that it was inconvenient and parang nakakatamad din kasi, di ba? You would build your profile, you would really take time to look for possible guys. So, nung na-realize ko yon na parang it's not because I'm really decided, but it's more of like I'm afraid of doing all these things. Yun nga, I started getting on the dating site. And to sabi ko nga kay Lord, sabi ko, ito, I'm doing something. I'm doing something. If there's nothing that comes out of this, then bahala ka na. What's for me? Pero I think importante din, to know why you're choosing this or that direction.
All right. Ang ating last question sa inyo, kasi we is parang boy abunda. Boy abunda. Like may mirror dyan. And you see yung future wife nyo. What would you want to say? What took you so long? Mga ganun ba?
Meron akong habang kayo nag-iisip, I heard this story from one of my favorite podcasters. A couple in their 60s got married 40 years after the guy first proposed to the girl. So apparently they were together in their 20s. Tapos nagpropose si guy kay girl na akala ni guy rejected siya. Hindi rin nila alam yung totoong story yung full story pero rejected siya. So they broke up, and then 40 years after they met again and they married finally. So what I want to say is that I hope you're not waiting 40 years to get married or do something about the love of your life or somebody you're interested in. So yun pala yung sabihin ko sa aking future spouse, don't waste time, don't wait 40 years, please. We don't have all the time in the world, so please hurry up. Yun ang message ko. How about you?
Ano yung sasabihin to future? Ano ba to? Kasal na?
Future spouses.
So parang
Easy. Ano to? You're the fulfillment of a promise. Yeah.
Wow. Taray. Clark. Na-pressure si Clark.
Oo nga, seryoso, wala akong maisip.
Kailangan poetic din.
Ayun nga, wala akong maisip na witty, clever, poetic, romantic na ewan.
Pwede rin yung parang kay Tina, please hurry up, right? So,
Don't.
Hindi kasi parang, hindi rin kasi nag-antay na ako so yung time sa akin wala na Siguro she's gonna have her own thing, baka gusto pa niya establish career niya, fine, basta andito lang ako, parang gano'n na lang siguro. Basta wala lang, parang I'll be a supportive partner, parang basta I'll support na lang kung ano yung parang plans pa niya and when she's ready or when we feel that we're both ready, let's.
Okay, so siya ang magiging so sa panawagan natin sa future wife is supportive. He will be the supportive partner.
Kasi definitely yun nga. Feeling ko she's gonna be younger so ayokong parang ma-feel niya na just because nandito na ako kailangan may marriage na somewhere sa corner or ewan. So wala lang, basta we'll enjoy each other's company, and then kung dumating na yung time na yun, sige. Let's. Yun na lang siguro, let's.
Tara, let's. It's been an enjoyable conversation with you. Thank you, Joey and Clark. I had fun. I had fun hearing your inputs, your thoughts.
Did you guys have fun ba?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's fun. Let's fun ulit pag merong pag
may success story na.
Or even so.
Gagawin ni Clark for mag-set up na siya ng podcast niya. Yun yung niya.
Kami naman ni Joey. Kami naman ni Joey. Tayo ang sarili namin podcast. Pero na seriously.
Tapos mag-invite siya ng mga
single.
Kala ko mga formal.
Front lang pala joke lang. Pero yun, seriously, we had fun. Thank you sa ulitin.
Thank you sa time niyo.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. And that was a fun episode. It's good to hear men's perspectives on dating and relationships.
3 very different people. So yung perspectives na na-share nila is, 2 extremes and then 1 in the middle. So it's always good to hear, their thoughts on certain things. Even though may mga narinig na rin ako from my friends, I think it's always useful to hear or to listen to how guys think So I think this was a really good session. Kahit ako may mga natutunan ako dito.
Ang nag-stick sa mind ko yung, time. You would really make time for your special somebody, for your person, if you really like the person. So, yun siguro yung ultimate teller. If a guy is into you, he would spend time on you. And also, but in the end, I think the main message is that whether you end up in a relationship or not, it's not the end of the world, because you can live your life well, you can live your life happily, even without a relationship. But that's not to say also that you disregard, the prospects of having a relationship, because it's also good to have a relationship. Which reminds me, Liv, because I was thinking of my upcoming trip in a couple months' time. I'd be traveling solo for the most part of the trip. The more I think about it, the more excited I get. But I had previously planned on doing this trip with a friend, but since the friend couldn't make it, then I'd have to do it solo. And then I was thinking, oh, I don't mind doing it solo. In fact, parang na-appreciate ko yung time to do it solo, because I could go to a lot more places than when I have somebody with me, because I'd have to think about her, the schedule and all. And then it hit me na it's kind of like living life, that I'd appreciate a travel buddy. I'd love to have a husband travel with me, pero if there's none, then I just have to make the most out of it. It's not the end of the world. So the same thing as, yung dating and relationships, you can live a full life even if you don't have somebody, but don't make it as an excuse not to look for that somebody if you feel that you want to have a spouse with you in this life.
Yeah, there's so many takeaways from this kasi nga ang daming mga good points na bring up ni na Radek, Clark, and Joey. I think it also links back to the previous two episodes that we have now that we are in our 40s. Of course, it can happen even in our 50s, 30s, and 20s, but at 40s, this is the time that hopefully we should know ourselves better already, because I think that's kind of where it starts. The better you know yourself, then the more you know what's your red flag, your non-negotiables, your preferences, and that ultimately can help you find yung partner. Or if you realize at this point that no, that's not the direction that I'm going, then at least it's a little bit clearer now. And I think that can save us from everything that we talked about in this session. Relationships that did not work, reflections that we have. So I think it starts with how full we are already at this point. Even though, let's say, single tayo, we have to be complete. I told Tina in one of our offline conversations, yung line from Jerry Maguire na "you complete me," that parang it was so romantic siguro dati when the movie came out, but that's not how it should be. Parang you have to complete yourself. You shouldn't be waiting for somebody else to complete you. If that person comes along, great, it's a bonus. But you have to be okay. You have to be living a full life already, like what Joey said. And I think when that happens, normally that could even help in attracting the right person for you, because the three of them talked about right person, right timing. So yeah, we're not relationships expert.
Yeah.
I'm not a relationship expert. Disclaimer now, but it's this parang one of the takeaways from this conversation.
Yeah, so number one, know yourself, and also know why you're choosing the way you're choosing. Yung na-mention ko kanina na big discovery sa akin this year. Kasi we may know ourselves, what we want, but do we know why we want those things? So if you desire marriage, then know the reasons why, and just make sure that they're for the right reasons. Kasi other people will say, oh, I don't want to grow old alone, so I want to get married. So is that coming from fear of not wanting to grow old alone, or like yung dati ako nga na I don't want to get married because I don't want to deal with somebody else. I don't want clutter in the house, or I don't want to deal with somebody snoring. I didn't want that inconvenience. So that was my reason for not wanting to get married. So I realized that was a wrong reason not to get married. So just make sure that they're for the right reasons. And work towards your goal. Kasi once you know yourself, then go for it.
Yeah, knowing that. But you can just be sure about yourself. Am I ready to move on to that level? And kung ang answer is yes, then yeah, that's good. And sa case ko, yeah, I said, okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Kasi I think most of the time, we're afraid and, we're afraid of maybe rejection. Na-feel ko yun before, rejection or the consequences. Na parang may hesitation. Pero I think somehow yung fear is a good sign na you're doing something right. You're doing something because if it doesn't scare you, parang may quotation na if it doesn't scare you, then it's worth nothing.
Yeah. I always ask myself, right? And not only with guys, relationships, and any decision, anything that I do, kahit na shopping. I mean, what's the worst thing that can happen? Right? What's the worst thing? When I, talk to my team and, in sales team, what's the worst thing that can happen? The customer says no. Is that the end of the world? No, you get no all the time. So how is that bad? And for myself, if I pursue this relationship, this guy, what's the worst thing that can happen? It doesn't work, right? I mean, of course, there are far worse things, violence and all that. Pero syempre, you tend to make sure naman with caution pa rin, di ba?
Yes.
But, I mean, normally sa relationship, yun na, broken heart. It doesn't work. But okay, parang that risk is always present naman eh. If I don't go for it, then I never know.
That's a green flag, no? Actually, that's a green flag. If somebody is taking action, if you see somebody is risking something in exchange for something bigger, that's a sign that it may be a guy for you, it may be a girl for you. If you see her, pursuing things. Because there's also on one hand there's the risk of rejection or of whatever, but on the other hand there's a cost to not doing that. So what does it cost you? What do you risk? What does it cost you? If it's gonna cost you a very probable life partner or love of your life and you're not doing anything, then you lose a lot.
And yung lessons, right? So this particular relationship, maybe you don't get rejected. Maybe naging kayo for a few months. But within that relationship, you get to learn things, right? About yourself, or you get to learn things that you don't like pala.
Oh, yes. There's always something to draw out.
Exactly. Yeah. Because now, go on.
Because I've heard friends who said na they're not on the app. They're in their 40s, of course. Yeah, they're not on the app because they're afraid. They're afraid of a lot of things. They make up excuses like, oh, there are scammers there. Oh, I'm afraid of making the first move or sending a message, or they're just afraid. So they come up with so many excuses. So what? So that's why they're single.
I think like what Radek said, if there's a will, there's a way. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, do you want it that bad?
Yeah.
If you have all these fears and excuses, then that could be your answer. Maybe you don't want it as bad as you thought you did.
Oh, kaya nga it's really important, to look inside yourself and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Why am I acting this way? Why don't I put myself out there? So we could talk about this for hours because it's really a very interesting topic, and we're not your therapist, but it's really interesting because we think differently. All of us think the way we think, but the important thing is we know ourselves, why we want certain things, and we work on it, and then if anything doesn't work out, then as the cliche goes, charge to experience, no? And ako, I take comfort in the fact na as a Catholic, I have a God who's got my back na if I don't end up with somebody, then it's okay. He will take care of me. Thank you for listening to us, mga kamerienda. Hope you got something out of this. Please continue to listen to us. Watch out for our episodes. We're on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple.